Welcome back to Wish for Death Island, population unpaid child actors, and well, riddle me this, would you? What is it with Goosebumps short stories being adapted into full-length fucking weirdest episodes of the TV show in existence? The last video I did on Goosebumps was the fucking same, and this one is just off the rails completely, but I will say the difference is that the last one was like completely shit, but this one is actually far better, because even though the creepiness is unintentional, at least in my opinion, it's still kind of effective, but I do want to share it with you regardless. Again, it's from the Tales series. The one from Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps is the one we're talking about today, and I have actually read this one, unlike Strained Peas, and there are some bizarre changes to the adaptation, but we'll get to those later. So these two main characters are brothers, John and Tom, and no matter how many times I try, I cannot remember which one is which, so we're just gonna call them B1 and B2. So as any Goosebumps episode, the parents are not going to do anything, and in this one they're actually just gone completely. Can't say I blame them. The brothers don't have any food, so they decide to go to look for pizza in the basement. Why the fuck would pizza be in the basement? Is it like just hanging around and playing cards? If a clown said that he had candy in his sewer, would you actually go look? One of the kids makes a comment about spiders being in the basement and looks way too excited about that.
In the dark, you can't see the spiders.
Then the door dramatically opens. It was the spiders. The spiders opened the door. So after the door closes, it immediately opens again, and a creepy looking aunt lady appears in her giant ass hat. I can only imagine that she slammed the door and then opened the door immediately afterwards for dramatic effect. So this is Aunt Dahlia. She looks like one of those new age ladies that sells Facebook mums healing crystals after their child got polio after she refused to vaccinate them and they're dead.
And now you're both so grown up and handsome. I just know the girls are gonna go crazy for you when you're older.
Dahlia immediately starts making like little sexual comments about how the boys will look good when they're older and stuff, and just general stuff about them being older, like she's trying to take stock of them like they're pieces of meat. She tells them that she's going to make cookies. Don't eat them. It was the spiders. The spiders are in the cookies. So the guys put on headsets and it looks like the movie Hackers. This is just the pinnacle of epic gamer moments. They talk about how weird she is, and B1 asks if she is really their aunt. B2 says yeah, but the dad never wants her to come over. So why did she come over? As soon as he says that, she appears behind them and says that these cookies would always be their dad's favorites, so they should eat them. Don't eat them. Are you ready for the jump scare? Are you sure?
They're prunes.
PRUNES! So they obviously don't like the cookies, and she says if they don't eat them, they don't get any actual dinner. These cookies are so jiggly, by the way. I don't know why. So that night they're in bed and they wonder about their aunt and start to hear some weird noises downstairs. I swear if it's that baby from the last episode. But they wonder why Dahlia is up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. And as soon as they say that, she appears and says that nothing is going on and they need their beauty sleep, which is the creepiest thing of all, with all of the sexual comments. So they wake up and feel like fucking shit and realize that they have wrinkles and find out that the prunes were fucking magic and made them rapidly age, so she could sell them to these two women who paid her to make them husbands. And they know that these two are technically children who just look old.
Now, where are those two cute boys you've told us so much about?
So yeah, this is a Goosebumps episode that's technically about human trafficking. Not only human trafficking, but child human trafficking and basically child mutilation and drugging on top of all of that. And you thought the one about the masks was creepy. So next is some really awkward and uncomfortable scenes of them all sitting together in the Stepford Wives looking ass room. Like all these women are buying these kids and just winking at them sexually while these kids panic because they can't escape. It's actually fucking terrifying. It just feels like it's way more real than any of the other episodes. And again, I don't think it's exactly intentional, but I think there's something about it. The writers must have known what was going on and they were the ones who made it intentional. You can read the real danger in this as like a trafficking story, and it makes all of these scenes way more uncomfortable than they were intended to be, in the book anyway. So B2 tries to convince B1 to come to the shops with him to get milk in a bid for escape, but Dahlia drags him away to separate him and B1 has to go on his own. They have this weird thing in the supermarket, like it's like a Death Grips music video. It's like a first-person scene and everyone treats him like an old man because they really think he is one. Are you ready for the second jump scare? The kid goes home and says that both he and his brother have aged so much that they can't even move themselves to jump out the window anymore. They're also incredibly hungry, and now the only thing that they have to eat is fucking baby food that clearly wasn't in the cabinets before, but now suddenly there. The spiders put it there. It was that fucking baby from the last episode, wasn't it? But as soon as B2 eats it, the aging starts to reverse. They both realize that this is the cure, and the women come in horrified that these husbandos are no longer old men anymore. Dahlia freaks out and corners them, but then B whatever throws the prune juice at her and, well, it's actually metal as fuck, and then she turns to dust. These other women freak out and run away, but B1 for some reason tries to eat more baby powder, and I don't know why. Where did you get more? Why did you decide to eat more? And if he turns into a baby, you don't have any more prunes, do you? Well, B2 finally manages to find some of the cookies in the bin, and hopes that he'll eat it as the camera zooms out. Kind of an ambiguous ending. So in the written version, the prune cookies are just prunes, the cure is wrinkle cream, and the guy just eats lunch with his crush instead of seeing his brother become a bab. So, I don't know. And as uncomfortable and creepy as I've said this episode is, of course it is ruined by the nonsensical, badly written ending, because it's Goosebumps, but whatever. The first and middle parts of the episode are effective enough for me, and this episode has unsaid implications, as we've said before, and it has remained with me long afterwards. However, I must wonder about some things. If Dahlia had already aged the kids using prune cookies, why did she just keep a massive pitcher of prune juice in the fridge? I mean, wouldn't that just be a hazard to herself? Because it was. How would the kids explain that their actual aunt already died? And how would Dahlia explain the family's kids being missing if the plan had succeeded? Unless the parents were somehow in on it? Also, how could she let the baby food get in the house? Didn't she notice? She was the one who was taking command of all the food in the kitchen. But I'm thinking about this too much. This is a Goosebumps episode, so it doesn't really warrant that. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And I'll see you next time on A Wish for Death Island. Prunes.